Good afternoon. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Economic Development and Regulatory Services Committee for today, June 5th. I've been joined by a quorum of the committee, including Councilmember Cano, Fletcher, Ellison, and Gordon. We have a very brief agenda, so I'm going to start with the consent items, which are items 6 through 12. They include a number of business license approvals, business license renewal, gambling license approvals, gambling license renewals, license settlement conference recommendation, and liquor license approvals. Are there any items anyone would like to pull? Items 6 through 12. Seeing none, I'll move the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are approved. We'll then begin with our public hearing agenda, starting with item number 1, which is Geek Love Cafe at Moon Palace Books. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, item number 1 is from applicant Moon Palace Books, LLC. The business name is Geek Love Cafe at Moon Palace Books. The address is 3032 Minnehaha Avenue. The requested license is to expand their current license of an on-sale wine and strong beer license with theater entertainment, just to expand the permanent expansion of their business to have outdoor dining on private area for 18 seats. The 18 seats will be located directly adjacent to the business. Because this is an expansion of an outdoor use of alcohol, a public hearing is required and notices were sent to residents and property owners within 300 feet of the premises. We've received 0 responses. The area was inspected and reviewed by lead inspector Mohammed Ishmael and is making a recommendation to approve this license.
Are there any questions for Ms. Roberts on item number 1? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 1, which is an expansion of premise. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Jamie Schwaznettel, representing Moon Palace Books, 3032 Minnehaha Avenue. We're just excited to have a little outdoor space. We think it'll be a great addition to the neighborhood where there's already the Hook and Ladder and Gandhi Mahal and Midori's Floating World, Nuevo Rodeo, just to provide a little more life on the street and outside. Yeah.
Well, great. Thank you very much. Thanks for doing that, and thank you for being here today. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Cano.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm really excited to move this item forward.
This item has been moved for approval. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. Thank you for being here. Good luck to you. We'll move on to item number 2. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 2 is from the applicant B&B of Nicollet, LLC. The trade name and business name is Five Guys. It's located at 555 Nicollet Avenue Mall, Suite 157. The requested license is to upgrade their current restaurant license to include a Sidewalk Cafe. The Sidewalk Cafe will be on Nicollet Mall and will consist of 35 seats that will operate the existing hours of the interior, which is 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily. The application was reviewed by Public Works, and also there was a public hearing requirement because it's expanding out to the Sidewalk Cafe, and residents and property owners were noticed within 300 feet of the premises. We've received 0 responses to the public hearing, and License Inspector Sheila Larson is making a recommendation to approve this license.
Are there any questions for Ms. Roberts on item number 2? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 2, which is a Sidewalk Cafe expansion at 555 Nicollet Mall. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Ryan Dussault, 555 Nicollet Avenue, representing Five Guys Burgers and Fries. We're excited to be on Nicollet and excited that it's finished, and now are excited to hopefully open that experience up to our customers.
Great. Well, thank you for being here today.
Right.
Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fletcher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to see people making use of the newly remodeled Nicollet, and I move this for approval.
Approval has been moved for item 2. Further comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. We'll move on to item number 3. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item number 3 is from applicant Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative. They're doing, their business name is Broken Clock Brewing. This application is to upgrade from their existing off-sale malt liquor growler application to include a license application for an on-sale liquor Sunday sales tap room with classy entertainment. The business is located at 3134 California Street Northeast, Suite 122. All of the other operations are going to stay the same. The current existing seating is for 89. It operates Tuesday through Thursday until 10 p.m. and on Sunday closes at 8 p.m. Broken Clock Brewing Cooperative provides craft beers and will also, they sell their off-sale malt liquor to the public. Because this is an upgrade, there's a public hearing requirement. Those notices were sent to residents and property owners within 600 feet of the business. We received 1 response in favor. Police licensing reviewed it for minimum requirements, and so did lead inspector Mohammed Ishmael, and we are making a recommendation to approve at this time.
Are there any questions for Ms. Roberts on item number 3? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item number 3, which is a on-sale liquor license with Sunday sale Class E license for Broken Clock Brewing. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Jeremy Matheson, 3134 California Street, Suite 122, Minneapolis. I'm just really excited to expand our tap room and serve the public. We've been in business now for a year, and for those of you that don't know, we are a cooperative brewery, so we're actually supported and funded by the community. So we're just excited for this opportunity to expand and allow for more people to be a part of this community.
Well, thank you for being here. What you're doing is really great.
Thank
We're
you.
really happy for you.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, I'm Dale Thomas. I'm a resident of Minneapolis, 429 Cedar Lake Road South. I'm a member of the Co-op Brewery, and we have over 400 people who are very involved in this brewery since we started gaining members. I think we started in 2015. Like Jeremy said, we opened up a year ago. We have a lot of involved people that volunteer their time to work together on the brewery. We're expanding the tap room, obviously, and that's what is the reason for this license application. And a lot of people are volunteering the time to help this community brewery move forward. So I ask that you approve it, and we'll have another successful brewery in Northeast.
Thanks for being here today, Dale. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Allison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm a huge fan of the cooperative model, just even more broadly, so I'm excited to move this item for approval.
Further comments or questions? Seeing none on the motion to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That item is approved. I will come to our final public hearing on these items, which is item number 4. Ms. Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The item number 4 is for All Square. It's located at 4047 Minnehaha Avenue. The application is for an on-sale wine strong beer license with classy entertainment that will include an private seating on private property. The interior of the establishment seating is 33, and the exterior is to be determined on that private area, but will not exceed 10 seats. The hours of operation will be 11 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week, and that's both interior and exterior. All Square is a nonprofit social enterprise centered on crafted grilled cheese restaurant and companion of other food items. All Square's mission is to help individuals who have been incarcerated and have an opportunity to move forward into a bright and productive future. Class E entertainment includes background music, TV jukebox, and pre-recorded music. This is a new on-sale wine application, and because of that, there's a public hearing requirement. So notices were sent to residents and property owners within 600 feet of the property. We've received 5 responses, 2 in support, 3 opposed. The opposition identifies parking as issue, that serving alcohol maybe doesn't exactly fit the mission of the business and the neighborhood, and that it may be too close to residential for alcohol service, are the general summary of the opposition. Police licensing and lead inspector Mohammed Ishmael reviewed the application for minimum requirements and is making a recommendation to approve both the interior and exterior based on final inspection.
Are there any questions for Ms. Roberts on item number 4? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing on item 4, which is a new on-sale wine with strong beer license at 4047 Minnehaha. Is there anyone here to speak to this issue? Please step forward, state your name and address for the record.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Turner, and I'm here on behalf of All Square, 4047 Minnehaha. As mentioned, we're a social enterprise in the neighborhood, and our brand and our name says something really important beyond the square grilled cheese. I think the notion that you're all square once you've paid your debts to society is super important for us. Our goal is to support and meaningfully invest in people with criminal records. Our board is namely comprised of people with criminal records, and I've spent a great deal in the legal field working in the justice system myself. So I think quickly, just wanted to mention, I completely understand the pushback regarding recidivism and potential conflicts with alcohol. Our proof of concept is Edwin's out in Cleveland, fine dining restaurant and institute, very similar. Ours is just a little less complicated than fine dining, but that's our proof of concept. We've discussed this many times. I think our policies and working through with our lawyer all the different variations and things that could come up, we have meaningful protections in place for this. And frankly, it was a business decision. I think a grilled cheese with a beer is just something that I think Minnesotans will really want. But we do have meaningful protections in place, and we also will note that not everyone going through our program will have experienced any issues with drug and alcohol abuse.
Thank you very much for being here today and for doing this good work. Is there anyone else here to speak to this issue? Anyone? Anyone? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilmember Fletcher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm excited about this business model. I appreciate you creating opportunities for people with criminal records. I think it's very important. And this sounds like a thoughtful business decision, so I'm happy to move it for approval.
Further comments or questions? Seeing none, on the motion to approve, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is approved. Good luck to you, and thank you for doing what you're doing. We'll then move on to our remaining items, which are items 13, 14, 15, and 16. I will note these are all rental license reinstatements for properties formerly owned by Steve Friends. And as you can see, the Director of Regulatory Services is here to speak to this issue. Thank you. Mr. Schechtman, before you give your presentation, I just want to note that we had a quasi-judicial public hearing on item number 5, but the business has paid their past due taxes, and so I'm going to move to delete item number 5 from the agenda at this point. Are there further comments and questions on item number 5? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to delete signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is deleted, and then we'll move on to item 13. Mr. Schechtman, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee members, Noah Schechtman, Director of Regulatory Services. I'm here today to present briefly on the rental license reinstatement of 2500 Emerson Avenue South, 3312 Blaisdell Avenue, 214 19th Street East, and 1308 Powderhorn Terrace. All 4 properties were previously owned by Stephen Friends, who is the subject of a high-profile rental revocation process over the past several years. And given the attention of the portfolio, I'm here today to, and that there's 4 of them at once. I'm here today to summarize the additional due diligence that the City of Minneapolis has done with new owners of this portfolio as we move towards reinstatement as they start to change hands. This process will be the new city standard for reinstatements when there's been a revocation, so that we are hopefully helping to ensure that we don't end up in a situation similar in the future. Working with the City Attorney's Office, I will point your attention to the slide that is up on the screen, which is the full set of due diligence that the department has done with each of these property owners. And I won't read every word of this to you, but briefly, in addition to a full application paying all fees and a $1,000 reinstatement fee, Properties are required to have a full inspection, including all units being inspected. The property owners are required to file a management plan and attend the property management workshop. And then in addition, and this is the relatively new piece, we have required sworn affidavits from all owners explaining who the ownership interests are in both the property and in any LLC associated with the property. Additionally, we've required copies of the new warranty deed and settlement statement executed in connection of the closing, and a copy of the recorded deed from Hennepin County or an affidavit from the title company conducting a closing. So the 4 owners involved in this reinstatement action have complied with all of these items, and as I mentioned, as further due diligence, we've done full inspections of each of the buildings, and by and large, with a few small items still left to handle, they are making progress on those items that are associated with the inspections to our satisfaction. And so we're here today recommending reinstatement of these licenses.
Okay, I just have one quick question. Mr. Schuckman, I just opened up the application for Jim Gray as an example, and it says that he agrees to abide by all the provisions set down in the management plan, and then it's dated 12/14/2016. Is that a
Madam
previous
Chair,
management plan?
Committee members, I would have to check on that date. I suspect that is a typo. We started a conversation with Mr. Gray back in the fall, and so this has been an ongoing discussion about reinstatement since then. I suspect that is an accidental 2016 versus 17, but I can confirm that if you'd like.
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, I just don't want to have any issues where we're being bamboozled by people into thinking that we're not paying attention to the details. We've already had that problem. I don't think we want to have it again.
Madam Chair, I've spent hundreds of hours myself on this case, and I can't agree more.
Okay. Are there further comments or questions about Mr. Schuckman's motion here, staff report? Councilmember Allison.
Just want to make sure that the tenants have been notified. Everybody's sort of like on understanding what's going on with these properties. Because, on the activist side, I want to make sure that there's not sort of like a miscommunication between what we're doing and what the tenants perceive us to be doing.
Madam Chair, Councilmember Ellison, I guess I can't speak individually to each of these buildings and how communications between the property owners and the tenants have been handled. I can tell you that on the city's part, we have done extensive communication prior to the revocation process with tenants in all of the buildings, sending letters directly to them. And for my understanding, based on the buildings that are in play, is that in general, life day to day has not changed substantially for most of these tenants, that this is a standard change of ownership. And we've worked very hard to not have this action impact tenants unless we got to a point far down the line of a vacation of property, and we've not gotten anywhere near that. And so while certainly there's been communications between the new owners and the tenants, that's something that is part of their normal lease contract and not related to city action. But were we taking any more punitive steps, we certainly would be communicating with tenants directly.
Thank you.
Okay, are there further questions for Mr. Schuckman? Seeing none, thank you for your report.
Thank you.
I'm going to move approval of the staff recommendation. I just want to make a few comments about it. One of the things that I think is really important in these rental license reinstatements is that the tenants who are currently there will not be evicted. Mm-hmm. So in a way, it creates housing stability for the people who are there. What these future landlords do in terms of rent, we really have no say in that. But what we do have a say in is how they upkeep their property. And that is something that Mr. Schuckman and his team have been working on. So part of the strategy of all of these properties with the license revocations is to ensure that people don't get evicted and that they continue to have stable housing within our level of authority. And this is a lot of units. This isn't like a duplex. I mean, there are multiple units involved with multiple people. So we're hoping that by issuing these licenses, their lives can get a little bit back to normal instead of being identified as people who live in a Spiro Sorbalis property or a Steve Friends property. They will be identified as people who live at the apartment building at 3212 Blaisdell, as an example, and that they're no longer tarnished with that reputation of living in these buildings that we have found to have problems. So I'm happy you have been able to work it out for these properties and that we're not in the position of issuing any kind of conditional licenses to Mr. Friends or Mr. Zerbalis, but are trying to move forward with a new beginning for so many of these tenants who rightly deserve it. So I will move items 13, 14, 15, and 16. Is there further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are approved. Seeing no further business before us, we are adjourned.